This is a bad show. I mean, this is almost a funny. This is not bad. I'm trying to do an interview with the great Kimberly Guilfoyle directly from the headquarters of the convention. And they put her in a pool area with other people, and it's another interview bleeding into her microphone, and she can't even say hello. Kimberly, thanks for being with us today. It's a pleasure. Just being with you and not talking with you is not a pleasure.
And I know that if Kamala Harris is the Democratic nominee, the Trump campaign will be prepared to bring that message about her failures directly to the American people.
Okay, Kimberly, you decide. You're the boss. Go. Tell me.
I think we just go. Let's start because I think Corey's wrapping.
Let's start again. Kimberly Guilfoyle needs no introduction, even though I gave you a big one before you came here. I recorded it. Number one, will Joe drop out, and who will be the candidate?
Well, there's a lot of speculation about that, and I think we will probably find out next week. We see that Biden already had another medical mishap with COVID. You see party leaders like Schumer calling for him to drop out, Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff. So I think I would not be surprised whatsoever if Kamala Harris ends up being the nominee. I just think it's not sustainable for Joe Biden to keep going in this way, and he is really losing support in his own party. But we're happy to run against Kamala Harris or anyone that the Democrats put up against President Trump.
Kamala's no threat in any debate, and she's really not popular even amongst Democrats. She's got the lowest ratings, amongst the lowest of the lowest. So it would be Trump versus Kamala. What kind of debate would that be?
Well, could you even imagine that? I mean, whether it's Donald Trump or J.D. Vance, okay, if she's the nominee or she remains the VP, both of them will wipe the floor with her, literally. She is no intellectual match for either one of these guys.
Well, you knew her when you were a DA in San Francisco. What was she like?
Not a good DA, not somebody who was admired or respected. She had about 4 cases that she did in Alameda before she came over to the DA's office. It wasn't somebody who was supportive of other women. So I just don't have really anything, positive or impressive to say about her. And I think that's really the consensus about anybody who has, worked with her. And I think it's the consensus about her vice presidency so far. Which the borders are, so give her a lot of credit for that.
Well, she played the race card to get where she is. Obviously, she's a DEI pick. Everyone knows that. So, Kimberly, do you remember when she started saying the BS about slavery, and her own father said he said, "Our name is Harris. We had slaves. What are you doing?" Remember that one?
Yeah, it's just the whole thing is very bizarre. But, she just really was not an exciting candidate when she ran. She got 1% of the vote. She's been a disastrous failure. Probably the worst vice president this country has ever seen. And now they're going to have to try to position her to be the nominee if Joe Biden, one more slip and fall and it's over for Joe. I mean, he has lost massive support in his own party.
No, he's gone. Look, this COVID thing was a setup. I don't even think it's real. He got on the plane. He got COVID. He goes on a plane without a mask after lecturing the world about masks. He shakes hands in a Hispanic themed restaurant. No masks with anyone, shakes hands, and suddenly I've got COVID. He goes on the plane. He's in the Secret Service car to the plane, no mask. I don't believe a word of it because remember that morning they leaked? I'll drop out, he said, if a doctor tells me to. The next minute he has COVID.
Exactly.
We can all read this.
That's not a coincidence, right? He said, if a doctor tells me I'll drop out, all of a sudden I have COVID. Look at me, no mask, no clue, no brain, no support in his own party. He's DOA.
Oh, so Kimberly, let's run it out.
Sure.
You're on the inside. I'm on the outside looking in. Okay. Through a looking glass. The whole thing is through a looking glass for me. She runs. He's gone. Joe is gone. He's the nice old guy in a nursing home. He gets the ice cream and the blanket that he's needed for the last 4 years. He's a happy camper. He doesn't have to lie anymore. He just has to lie still and shut his mouth. Okay, so he's the candidate. He's gone. She's the candidate. Who do they pick for a VP with her running on that ticket?
It's a really good question. I mean, you see people like, Whitmer's like lurking in the shadows too, but she'd prefer to be the nominee. But there's just a bunch of lurkers. They're going to have to pick somebody, right? I mean, it's just really true.
Lurkers, you know what? I thought of, in the minute you said that, I thought of like a floor walker in a furniture store in Milwaukee somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So, who are they going to pick? I mean, there's not really anybody exciting, on that side. And nobody else really wants to be on that ticket. And I'll be honest with you, nobody wants to, at this point, run against President Trump.
Yeah.
You're just going to take the loss. You're going to end up in the loser column, and no one wants to take that hit.
Well, there's a saying, if you go to kill the king and miss, you're really done, because he'll seek vengeance. I would. We all know what's coming, and they all know it as well. And I'm terrified that they're not through yet. I really, Kimberly,
don't count them out, though. They'll do absolutely anything. We already know this. History has shown this. So these aren't people that are just going to go ahead and say, okay, we're just going to call this one for Trump early. We're too far out. Anything can happen at this point. We've seen them, in the middle of the night, change an outcome. So they're capable of absolutely anything.
Well, that's the most, everyone's saying they've already printed 12 million ballots and they've already sent them around to the districts, and can't they be watched the night of the election?
That's what it's going to come down to. But we saw them, there were plumbing leaks in Georgia, all of a sudden the ballots showing up. We went to bed, we woke up and it was like a different outcome. It's unbelievable to me. But, they worked and did it before and were successful.
Well,
so,
we can't say it, Kimberly. We can't mention that. Nobody can mention that. We know it didn't happen, because if we talk about it, we'll get destroyed, sued, shot at, whatever.
Oh,
you think they're going to do it again?
Well, my point is, they want to do anything possible to stop Donald Trump. They do not want this America First movement to succeed. Okay, they do not. And
all right, it's the nationalists versus the internationalists, is how I framed it. People call them globalists. It's really internationalists, globalists, same thing. Okay, so you're a big part of the America First movement. Donald Trump is your father-in-law, after all, correct?
Yes. Yes.
How is the great man after being shot and almost done? I mean, did it, Kimberly? I'm looking from the outside. I was watching it. I was on Newsmax.
Terrifying.
I was on Newsmax, took the shirt off, eating a sandwich, watching him speak, and all of a sudden I hear bang, 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 and he goes down, and I dropped my sandwich and said, "They shot my friend."
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, it was an awful moment. I was watching as well. Don and I were supposed to be in Pennsylvania, actually, at the rally and speaking. Our plans changed, and then I was watching, and he took his daughter Kai, who spoke last night, out on a daddy-daughter little fishing thing on the boat.
Wow.
And I saw this happen, and my heart just dropped, and I was so overcome with emotion and fear and worry. I tried to compose myself, and I had to call Don and tell him that his father had been shot at the rally. I mean,
wow. Oh my God.
Imagine that conversation. So it was brutal. And I said, hey, get off the phone. You've got to call. We got to figure this out. And it was about 90 minutes before we knew,
Oh, you didn't know how serious you didn't know how serious the injury was.
We were, very concerned, and it was incredible, because in that moment, imagine how many people after being shot would then be worried about standing up to reassure the crowd and the American people that they're okay. And then, of course, came the iconic photograph and the fist in the air with it's unbelievable.
The mainstream media has dropped the assassination attempt already. This is the biggest story of our lifetime, by the way. It's the #1 story of our lifetime. I mean, I've lived through JFK assassination, RFK assassination, MLK Jr. assassination, the two shots at the vice president, whose name we all forget, the trip and fall. I'm pulling a Biden moment. Ford. No, not who was the guy who they tried twice to do? No one remembers his name. That's the press. There were 2 attempts on him, but no one knows his name. And then there were lots of them. So I've been around a long time, and I watched this. I said, this can't be happening. But they pulled it off in broad daylight. And Kimberly,
there's a lot of questions that need to be answered there. There needs to be a select committee investigation. You know what I found particularly repulsive was the fact that when I was looking at the TV and the different coverage, they were saying Trump gets grazed by, I'm like, are we all just going to sit here and act like this didn't happen? That was an assassination attempt. And it wasn't really until later that night or the next morning that they started changing their rhetoric and the chyrons on the bottom of the screen in the lower thirds. And I just thought to myself, are you kidding me? Are you this dishonest that you're not going to admit and identify what just happened?
A 223 bullet goes through your ear, and that's called grazed. But if a liberal breaks a hangnail, they go to a doctor for 3 months to make sure it's not infected.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But I think really the American people, the response, the amount of prayers and love and support for the president, even really bipartisan support, that was at least, very positive to see. It was just the media, I think, that did not handle it well at all.
Well, they hate it.
And
Kimberly,
right,
everyone
right.
hates the media. They did before this. They're absolutely no trust right now. You're a former DA. I remember when you were in San Francisco. I remember some of your cases.
Yes,
Okay.
the dog mauling case.
The Presa Canario case.
Yes,
I remember it very
that's
well.
a precedent-setting case. It's the case law in the United States of America for second-degree implied malice murder.
I remember that case. You did a great job, and they deserve to be in prison. Are they still in jail, the owners?
The woman is, yes, the one who was present at the scene. The husband is deceased now.
Those dogs tore that poor woman to shreds.
Terrible.
Every time I see a Presa Canario in the street, I kind of cross the sidewalk. I mean, I never knew they were such vicious dogs. I'm thinking of getting one, but the last dog I had was this big, called Teddy. Okay. I'm not going to. But Kimberly, let's go to President Trump. I know your time is limited. You're there with him. You've seen him
He's doing
since.
So well. I can't even believe it. I stare at him and I'm just looking at him like, are you kidding me?
Isn't he
like,
shaken by this at all? Come on, as a human being.
I'm being honest with you. I don't know. He's different. He is built different. Like Don said last night, he's Trump tough. That's a whole new thing. I mean, we were more upset. He was trying to like reassure us. We all talked to him after he called, and it was me and Don and Eric and Laura, some of Don's kids, etc. on the phone. And he was being loving and funny and smart. We were telling him that we love him, and it was just so good to hear his voice. It was like an emotional moment. We had all the adrenaline going, so we were so worried about him. And then we were sitting on the couch later, just like, it was just hard. You get tears in your eyes because you're just like, this was, this close.
Trump
this
tough.
Close.
That's a good use of words. Trump tough. That'd be a good ad for a car. You should consider putting out an automobile called
There you go.
The Trump
and he's in good mood. I'll tell you what, you can say what you want. This convention has been hugely successful. We've had phenomenal speakers. It's unbelievably well produced. And I would say it, if we could do better or do this or do that. Last night was fantastic. JD Vance, highly relatable, wonderful guy, great close friend of ours, with an incredible American dream story. And I think, he really made it clear that, hey, this is a big tent. We want to include everybody. And that's sincere. So Don had a great night. His daughter Kai stole the show.
I was going to say the people who stole the show were Kai, the granddaughter, and the 98-year-old vet. I mean,
wasn't he so adorable?
I would enlist again if I was asked to fight for this
country. Said he would storm the beach again.
Yes, I loved it.
You know what I thought? I said, this guy's 98 years old and he blows doors on Biden. Like, how much better shape and condition and able to read the paper he was, at 98.
You're right. And that shows
pretty remarkable.
That shows
that's what I was thinking.
It's not about age. It's about mental acuity. I've been saying it for years. I'm 82 years old. I haven't missed a beat. My mind is sharper than it was at 40 because I have more focus than I did at 40 and less problems mentally than I did at 40. At 40, you're still struggling with certain things and you want to get ahead in life. At a certain point, that stuff falls into the background. This guy's so laser focused at 90. It shows Biden's shot. That brain was shot a long time ago, but we know that there's no point in beating him up. I've got your attention. The people are listening. We heard how President Trump is dealing with his life-changing event. You're saying he's dealing as Trump tough. We talked about the most popular speech. We talked about, will Joe drop out and be the candidate? We don't know. I assume he'll be gone very soon since they're all, his own party is against him.
I think you made the great point, Michael, because you said that they set this up already because he put it out there, right? If a doctor tells me that I need to leave and not be the nominee and drop out, then I'll do it.
Now, the great doctor that he always said he was fine, the great doctor will tell him
that guy.
He has to drop out for himself. Well, the
Dr.
real one.
Feel good.
Look, he's like a captain on a ship that's foundering in a storm. His hands are locked on the wheel. Typical old age home behavior, where the nurses have to pry the hands off wheelchairs to get people out of chairs. Sometimes people who are old get freaked out. And so there's Jill's hands over his. I mean, if I were Jill, I wouldn't want to let go either. Would you want to go and give up? Would you want to let go? You want to let go of Air Force One and 1,000 guards protecting you and fly on Spirit Airlines again? And
they have too much grift going on. That's the thing. And also they need to protect themselves. They're legally, vulnerable because of everything that's gone on and the investigations, etc. So, I mean, maybe he'll swap it in for a pardon, that's what I think it's going to come down to. Be like, okay, Kamala, got to pardon the whole Biden crime family and we'll leave the building.
That's what they're negotiating. That's a very good point. I think that's a key point. What is Joe and the gun moll? I mean, the wife, the first lady, what are they negotiating for right now for old Joe to let go of the ship's wheel? You hit it. You hit the nail on the head. Full
I
pardon.
think that's what they're worried about. Think about it. They're very vulnerable right now. They have to ensure that, they want to keep Hunter out of jail, Joe out
Yeah.
of jail, etc. And so what they've got to do is make sure that they're protected as a family. And that's going to be a negotiation, I'm quite certain, behind the scenes.
Kimberly, is Hunter her son from that marriage?
No,
Is
I
he?
don't think so. That's a
No,
good question.
that's not her biological son.
No,
Who is she? Who is he from?
no, no.
No, I don't. Joe was married before this one, the babysitter.
Before the babysitter, yes, this is the
Yes.
baby, but I don't think she was Hunter's babysitter. I don't know.
Well, what's this with babysitters and world leaders? I mean, we got the one in France. We have Joe Biden. I don't get this. I mean, but let's go talk about that another time at Mar-a-Lago over a drink. I
Yeah.
don't really get the babysitter and the guy thing. I don't quite get it. It's called something else in my vernacular. In your world that you are in, I would rank this convention the best I've ever seen. I've never seen
I agree.
anything as well oiled as this. It was inspiring. It wasn't
Spectacular.
boring. It was well produced. There wasn't a flaw anywhere. Who produced this event?
Yeah, our advanced team, Justin Caparol and his production team put this together, in collaboration with the RNC, with Michael Watley and my sister-in-law, Laura Trump, and just, it was a lot of people, a lot of
Were you involved,
amazing people.
Kimberly? Were you involved in the event?
Yes, well, I spoke last night, which was great. The president
but
loved it.
were you
And
involved in
then
organizing the
in
event?
fundraising, etc. I've got a big Women's for Trump event coming up, actually after your show that I'm hosting with Tiffany Trump as well. So it's been great, and everybody wants to come. People are enthusiastic. The money is rolling in, so we definitely have the momentum. But like I said, we can't take it for granted. We're very cognizant of the fact that there
Yeah.
is a lot of runway and time left
Yes.
before that election, November 5th.
Yes.
Nobody's complacent. Nobody's cocky about it. Everybody is just like excited what happened here with the convention. We feel good about our operation, our organization, and we've got a really tremendous ground game. We've got Trump Force 47, which is where people can be captains in the different neighborhoods and go on TrumpForce47.com and get involved and really mobilize in their own neighborhoods. And it's pretty exciting. So it's working, and we're really canvassing the whole country, focusing on swing states, targeted ads, to make sure that we really get the job done.
Before you leave, Kimberly, I live in the most liberal county in America, Marin County.
Yeah.
Okay. You never see a Trump sign. I have a friend.
Put one up.
I have a neighbor on a hill who is a Marine. He's an older man. When I say former Marine, he is a Marine. Okay. Never had a lawn sign. All of a sudden, he has 5 lawn signs going up the mountain on his property. Trump, Trump, Trump. So I call him up and I say, I'm so happy to see that. How are our neighbors handling that on the hill? He says, I don't give a shit.
That's pretty funny.
What I'm saying is, after this assassination attempt, a lot of us who were hiding from these liberal, terrorists around us are coming out of the closet and saying, drop dead, take a shot at me because you're not going to get
Right.
me. I think this absolutely empowered all of us to stand up for America again, Kimberly.
You're absolutely right.
How do I
think
get
it gave
lawn
people
signs?
courage.
Where do I get lawn signs from in Marin County? How do I get them?
I don't know. We'll have to send you some.
I want to put them up.
Guys, let's send Michael Savage lawn signs. He wants to put them up in Marin County. All
Yeah,
right, there you go. We're going to send it to you.
Okay. Kimberly, again, any final words for the Savage Nation who invented borders, language, and culture? By the way, I got to show you something.
Show it to me.
This was the motto in 1994 when I started my radio show.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what Rudy Giuliani said to me when I saw him at Mar-a-Lago a year ago? He says, I never met him before. He said, Michael, when you first were on radio in New York on ABC, we thought you were crazy. He said, now we realize you were a prophet.
Yeah, you were a prophet. You were ahead of the times. Well, I know you a long time. Our families are very close, as you know. So I've had the pleasure and privilege of enjoying all your commentary and great family moments together as well. But yeah, you're ahead of your time. So it's
Borders,
pretty cool.
language, culture is the motto of the Savage Nation, but it's really at the bottom of it, Donald Trump's message when you say, America great again. We're talking about secure the border.
Yes.
Make sure English is the language that we all speak, the glue that holds us together. Doesn't mean other languages can't be spoken.
Stop the indoctrination, end the cancel culture. Yeah. Respect our military and our veterans.
Culture. That's what I was talking about. So when Donald Trump wins, let's take the positive approach before you go.
Okay.
Are you going to play a more prominent role in the front rather than behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the president wants, I'm super busy with all my different ventures that I have going on and my show on Rumble, and really excited, happy doing that. I'll be broadcasting later again today, and it's just an incredible platform. So Don and I are both on there, and it's amazing. And the amount of viewers, because people are going elsewhere. They don't go to the legacy media, the mainstream media, because people are smart and they use common sense, and they want people that are authentic and honest and not censored, and they don't want the bias.
Your husband had me on his show twice.
I know, so good. You
And
guys got big ratings.
I'm a pretty straightforward guy. I was shocked the first time he asked me on, because I never knew that he even liked me, and I never met him in person before. And I thought
He's a
that
fan.
huh?
He's a fan of yours.
I didn't know it. Okay, I really didn't know it, because I have a little, bad blood with Sean Hannity and a couple of the people from that crowd, and I know he's close to your husband, so I figured it was spillover, and I didn't want to. So when I went on the show, I didn't know if it was actually a setup show or not. And you know what? He was so respectful. I was actually stunned.
Yeah, no, he's very good. He's actually great on television. As you saw, he gave a very measured, great tone speech last night.
Your
that he
husband
worked
looked
on a
better than he
lot.
ever did. He was
Yeah.
great last night. I got to say it. He never
Yeah.
looked better. No, he's got his act is getting better. His
See, there you
performance.
go. He's in the Guilfoyle Academy.
He was good. He was getting really better at his whole, persona. I got to tell you, it's not easy to do. To
Oh, he's
stand up
fantastic. Yeah.
not-
Well, the president was super proud and happy of, Kai and of Don, of all of us. Eric is going to speak tonight. Laura spoke. I spoke last night. So it's a family affair, but there's a lot of talent in the family and a lot of love and support. So we're a loyal, tight bunch.
Well, before you go, when you and Don are out in the Bay Area ever again, I don't know if you ever come back. You must still have family here.
Yeah, well, we have some friends and stuff like that and everything there, but we've come out there for fundraisers because we actually pulled in a lot of money when we went to San Francisco, which really shocked the libtards. But
where were you on
they couldn't
Pacific Heights?
believe
Were
it.
you on Pacific Heights in Peter Thiel's house?
No, we weren't at Teal's house. Another one of our friends there. I don't know if I want to out her, but yeah.
Well, I remember when you were in Piedmont during the last
Yeah.
and I flew on Air Force One to LA. I jumped on the plane. Jared got me on the plane. It was quite an experience.
Yeah.
Because Russ was going to be at the next event. His friend's
Exactly.
Jeff's house was used for the event. Don't forget me when you're back in the White House. I want to be invited for the egg roll.
All right, there you go. You got it, buddy.
Kimberly, regards to everybody, and please tell the president. Please tell the president I'm still alive. I'm actually still living.
Okay, I will tell him that. Absolutely.
Good luck, Kimberly. We love you.
Thank you.
Take
Be
care.
good. Love you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.